Greetings, everyone. It's B-Rock, and I'm back doing a quick video just to show you some of the gear I use live. So this is my pedal setup, and I actually have two independent power sources running. I have independent, like a daisy chain, one of those Walmart setups going from the TU2, and that's powering my phaser, my flanger, and my chorus and the delay. And it looks like I'm also getting the GE7 powered on that. The all my dirt pedals are isolated, and the looper, the Digitech looper, is also isolated, as well as the wah. And this setup actually gives me almost no noise at all. Actually, there's no noise unless I'm like totally driving the dirt pedals, but you're going to have that with lots of gain, especially if you're stacking pedal upon pedal upon pedal. I also recently started using, it's a very inexpensive but all right pedal, the DoD volume pedal. And I run that first in the chain. Sometimes I run it last, but mostly first. And it just makes things a little bit easier when playing a Les Paul. I can't always get down to my bridge volume knob fast enough, and usually I use a Les Paul when I play live, or a guitar similar to the setup that of Les Paul. Fenders and like Tellys and Strats, you know, I don't need to use the volume pedal because the volume knob is right there. I've mentioned in past videos that I've been using this 5E3 Tweed clone, which is a great tube amp. I love it, love it, love it. Great sound. And for most places, this amplifier has enough headroom for me to get my sounds with what you see here. A lot of you might be scoffing at the Danelectro Fab chorus, but I tell you what, a lot of you probably haven't even bothered to play it. It sounds fantastic. It's very quiet, and it doesn't get used that often, so you know, I don't really have to worry about it being an issue. And I wired it so that it has a drive-through, so that you know you bypass the circuit. But it's a great pedal. In fact, you can actually, the way it's set up, you can turn the effect off and actually use it as a boost. It gives you a couple decibels boost, and it's really nice. One of those things that I'm sure a lot of people laugh at, a $15 effect pedal. Well, here it is. You know, people used to laugh at some of the Arion chorus pedals until people realized, oh, this actually has some great applications. So that's the amp that I've been using recently. It's a 12-watt tube amp. And, you know, I'm in a big band. We play 80s and 70s, 80s, and 90s rock. So, you know, a lot of you might be surprised that a little 112 12-watt tube amp is loud enough. But it really allows you to drive the tubes and get a wonderful tone. And using these pedals, I spend most of the night on the OCD. For heavier tunes, sometimes I'll use the Sovereign. For doing more of the classic rock, I'll use the Plimsoll. I love that pedal. You know, it's almost like having the OCD and the Tube Screamer on together. It's a very similar sound. And for the super heavy modern stuff, I have the Sovereign. And so that I don't have to worry about the sound engineer giving me the boost at the time when I need it, the GE7 comes in handy. Also, if I don't have to worry about boosting for too many solos, I will, so have a look at that. That's how I have the curve set currently, but it depends on room to room. Now, a lot of you may have also realized that recently I have been playing a lot of my videos through this Crate Vintage Club 50. It's a 310 amplifier. It sounds great. It's a big, so look at the size here. It's a big, heavy amp. It's a particle wood cabinet. So it's really cheap, really heavy. It does have an actual birch baffle in there, which is nice. But, you know, a throw and go, loud enough. I mean, and, you know, this amp is loud enough for most applications, and, you know, I can always throw a mic on it. I do have a lot of other amps that sound great. You know, the Hot Rod DeVille 410 is a great amplifier. I have my good old JCM 900 here. I have my 412 cabinet there. It's a JCM 800 cab. When I started playing in cover bands, I was actually using this Custom Coupe 72, which is a really good amplifier, especially if you're on a budget. It's all tube. It's kind of like a Fender meets Orange. The gain on that's really good. The speakers, they're not so great, but a lot of times I'll run it through another cabinet. And I also have this Egnator 112 down here with a English-made greenback in it, and that's a really, really good speaker. Sometimes I swap that out with a Vintage 30 that I have as well. But it's a perfect little size. You see how they sit right on top of it. And then for really small places, for like open mic nights and stuff, where like let's say I'm playing electric and there's acoustic instruments involved, I've been using this little PV Classic 20. So, you know, there's a mix of amplifiers in this room. And at rehearsal space, we practice pretty loud. I have I have a JCM 2000 TSL that I use. But, you know, oh, and I almost forgot about the industry standard Hot Rod Deluxe. And that's a great amp too. Sometimes if I know I'm going to need maybe to be like really, really loud, or let's say there's another guitar player that's going to need to use my amp, I'll bring that instead of my Tweed, because I know how the Tweed works. Not everyone knows how the Tweeds work. So, you know, if there's going to be an opening band that's going to need to play in my gear, I'll bring that out. It's in there. It's just got a bunch of junk on it. So getting back to the pedal board, it's a standard Crybaby wah pedal, straightforward. It's from the late 90s. I have a turbo tube screamer, and I go back and forth between regular mode and the plus mode, the OCD, and those settings change depending on the room. Plimsoll, same thing. Sovereign, you know, sometimes I swap that out with my Pinnacle. The Sovereign seems to cover a little bit more sonic territory, but the Pinnacle, when you want to get your Eddie Van Halen on, that's the pedal to go to. And again, the GE7 is a great standby. This is a vintage Ibanez, what is it? Can we say? FL9, I think, flanger. Great sound. And then this, the VFE Enterprise phaser, I can also get some vibe sounds out of that. And because space was at a premium, and sometimes I need to do loops for, you know, lessons, I put that looper on there, and I went with a smaller echo, because I could just dial in whatever echo sound I need. And I've been thinking for a while to just get, you know, one of the multi-effect systems like a Mobius, or even like something like a Line 6, just to replace a bunch of that. And I'm probably going to do that at some point. But if any of you put your own pedal boards together, you know how much work goes into it. So I'm really not looking forward to having to rip everything up. You know, I have all the cables zip tied underneath, and it just takes a lot of work to get things quiet and have all your cables running the correct way. So I'm trying to kind of leave that alone. So, you know, again, this is just a quick video showing you about my board and my amplifier. I almost always run into the normal channel. However, there have been some basement pubs that I've played in where the bright channel seems more appropriate. It just, like I said, every room is different. And, you know, as I've found too, as the night goes on, more and more people show up, your ear starts to become fatigued. Sometimes I'll switch it then just to get a different frequency in my ear. So thanks for stopping by and checking this out. So y'all take care.